friends, what is up? Welcome back. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about Stephen King. Yes, let's welcome the king himself back to my channel. I have not talked about him in a very long time, and that is because what he has been publishing recently really has just been trash. Absolute garbage. I have hated it. But I do have 3 books. They are massive, so don't come for me. Yes, only 3 books that I still have not read by King that are sitting on my shelves that I really want to get to this year, and I'd love your opinion on them. I want to know if they are ones that are worth me reading, if they are ones that I should just sell. These are ones that I've had for a very long time, since they've been published, or since I purchased them years and years ago, and I still haven't read them. So I want your personal opinion. Today's video is also a giveaway. Just leave down below a Stephen King book that is high on your TBR, a Stephen King book that you want to get your hands on. I'll be choosing someone from those comments. Just make sure you leave your email or your Instagram handle so I can get a hold of you to have the book sent to you. You can get it from Amazon, Book Depository, wherever works for you. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have thoughts. I have lots of thoughts on these books. So as somebody who is in the automotive industry, I thought this book would be higher on my list of books that I want to read. This is made into a movie. This is a classic. People love it. It is Christine. I don't know why I haven't read this because I was enthralled by From a Buick 8. I think Stephen does this kind of horror really, really well. Like inanimate objects or like things that you would think as harmless, he literally can turn into something absolutely terrifying. And that is what I'm hoping Christine is. I'm hoping Christine has more of the Buick, From a Buick 8 kind of vibes to it. But basically, this is about a man whose name I cannot remember, Arnie, who becomes obsessed with his car, and it feels like his car is like getting into his brain and kind of controlling him, and I'm really, really excited. If you've read this, let me know. I know, like I said, it's a movie. People love it. It's the Stephen King classic, but not necessarily one that I, for some reason, had very high on my TBR. So here we are. If you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. The next one I have here, or the next 2 I have here rather, are going to start some discourse. The reason why I haven't read anything by Stephen recently is because I think we are in, his stuff hasn't aged very well, if you will. I think that it takes a certain person to be able to read and kind of like see past some of the things that he says and does. Doesn't make it right. Whatever. So it took me a while to kind of figure out whether or not I could be able to do that. And one of the ones that is really high on my list that I want to read that people love, obviously also made into a movie, you're going to know which one I'm talking about. It is It. My friend actually got me a copy of this because I'd never read it. I have it on audiobook, tried to listen to it on audiobook. I just wasn't in the right like headspace for it, I guess you could say. There is sex between very minor characters. By minor I mean young. There is a lot of racist slurs that are thrown around in this book, and it was hard for me to read something that made me uncomfortable in that way and still enjoy it. But I think I'm at a point in my life where I will be able to kind of separate that for me. I know not everyone can do that, and I'm not saying necessarily you need to do that. That's a whole topic for another conversation. But I do really, really want to read this. This is just quintessential classic King, and it makes me really excited to read his stuff again. And I think that this will have a lot of the things that I normally like from him in there. He tends to be very fantastic at writing like very boring, bland, basic day-to-day stuff and making it very interesting. And I'm hoping that there are minor characters in here that we get that perspective from. I love the small town vibe. I love that there are children characters. That's one of my favorite things that he does. And I just know there's so much hype. And I have seen the movies, the old one. I have not seen the new ones, and I will probably watch them after I read this, but I really just wanted to read this and finally say I've done it, because everybody's like, what in the actual fuck are you doing? The next book that I want to talk about is one that I've had since it was released. I'm pretty sure I got it on release day. I've had this since it came out. Literally, I don't even know, but it would be Sleeping Beauties. This is Stephen King and Owen King. Once again, if you're new to my channel, I have not read anything that isn't just specifically Stephen King writing. This is something that he wrote with his son. Now, this brings me to the conversation I wanted to have. I am very nervous. If you've read this book, let me know if you think that it was worth it, because my issue that I have with newer Stephen King is that there tends to be kind of like a forced acceptance in it where he's like, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not homophobic, even though I'm older than shit and have literally spoken like that my entire life. Like, I don't tend to want to think that he's, you know, a horrible person, but, you know, you have to take ownership of the things that you are producing, the works that you are creating. This book seems very feminist to me. It's about women who go into these cocoons when they sleep. They go somewhere better. I don't know if that means like mentally they go somewhere better, but basically the men are left by themselves. They turn to violence. There is one girl who, I can't remember her name, Eve, of course her fucking name is Eve, who is immune to this sleep. So she's awake with all the guys, and the guys are trying to figure out if they want to kill her. I'm sure they're trying to figure out if they want to kill her, if they want to fuck her, like, I don't know. But it just seems like the last bit of it says, Sleeping Beauties is a wildly provocative, glorious, dramatic father-son collaboration that feels particularly urgent and relevant today. And I want to talk about this. I want, and I am begging Stephen King to stay in his lane. He writes horror. It's not that hard to stop some of the dialogue that you traditionally use in your books. It's not hard to, you know, kind of change what you're writing to better suit our time, but you do not need to make things like it's so like pick me. It's so like, I swear I'm not that way. Look at this great book that I wrote that's actually, you know, all about feminism and like how men are terrible. And I don't know. If you've read this, let me know. I'm really freaking afraid to read it. I'm excited to read it, but I'm also afraid to read it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but those are the 3 books by Stephen King that I want to read this year. I'm sorry this video is short and sweet, but that's how I want to come back to YouTube. I want to film short and sweet videos and get my groove back a little bit. Once again, if you would like to enter the giveaway, let me know a book by Stephen King that you have at the top of your TBR that you would like. Let me know down below in the comments, and also leave your Instagram handle or your email, whatever way I can get a hold of you, and I'll just randomly draw a winner. This is open internationally, obviously, as well. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below, you know, a good horror book that you've read recently. I want a better horror book, that not gory horror, but like just good horror, like psychological. If you know of any, let me know down below. But I love you guys, and I will see you in next week's video.